For most of automotive history, engineers have agreed on one basic rule. If you want a balanced, stable, high-performance sports car, you put the engine in the front or the middle, not hanging behind the rear axle. That rule exists for a reason. Weight distribution matters, traction matters, stability at high speed matters. And yet, in 1963, Porsche introduced a car that ignored all of that logic. The Porsche 911 placed its engine behind the rear wheels, creating a weight bias that many experts immediately called dangerous, outdated, and fundamentally flawed. Critics believed the design would make the car unstable, prone to oversteer, and difficult for normal drivers to control. Some even predicted it would be a short-lived experiment, a stepping stone to something more sensible. What no one expected was that this wrong design would not only survive, but remain in production for more than 60 years, becoming one of the most recognizable and successful sports cars in history. To understand how that happened, you have to go back to the mindset of Porsche itself. Ferdinand Porsche, the man behind the brand, was never interested in following conventional wisdom. His philosophy was rooted in efficiency, simplicity, and mechanical honesty. The rear engine layout wasn't chosen to be radical. It was chosen because it solved several problems at once. It allowed for excellent traction under acceleration, eliminated the need for a long drive shaft, reduced mechanical complexity, and made the car lighter. In theory, it was elegant. In practice, it demanded respect. Early 911s were not forgiving cars. Lift off the throttle mid-corner, and the rear weight could swing around violently. Many drivers learned that lesson the hard way. But instead of abandoning the concept, Porsche did something few manufacturers ever commit to. They spent decades refining a flawed idea instead of replacing it. Each generation of the 911 became a rolling engineering lesson in how to tame physics without betraying identity. Suspension geometry evolved. Tires widened. Aerodynamics improved. Electronic aids were eventually introduced, not to change the character of the car, but to make it accessible to more drivers. What's remarkable is that Porsche never erased the challenge entirely. The 911 always retained a sense that it demanded skill, that it rewarded precision. This is a key reason why enthusiasts bonded so deeply with it. Driving a 911 didn't feel like using a machine designed to protect you from mistakes. It felt like entering a partnership with something alive, something that responded honestly to your inputs. At the same time, Porsche's refusal to abandon the rear engine layout became a form of brand discipline. While competitors chased trends, Porsche doubled down on consistency. The silhouette barely changed, the round headlights stayed. The engine remained behind the driver. Over time, what was once seen as stubbornness turned into authenticity. The 911 became a car that stood outside normal product cycles. It wasn't redesigned to chase fashion. It evolved slowly, deliberately, almost conservatively. And that slow evolution created trust. Buyers knew that a 911 from 10 years ago still belonged to the same lineage as a new one. That continuity built something far more valuable than performance numbers: credibility. By refusing to admit defeat, Porsche transformed a controversial engineering decision into a core identity. The 911 wasn't fast because it followed the rules. It was fast because Porsche learned how to bend them. This is the first great paradox of the 911. A car that should have failed on paper became a benchmark in reality. And that paradox only deepened once Porsche took the 911 into the world of racing, where logic is supposed to matter most. If the Porsche 911 truly was an engineering mistake, racing should have exposed it immediately. Motorsport has no patience for romantic ideas or brand loyalty. Lap times don't care about heritage, and endurance races punish imbalance mercilessly. And yet, instead of collapsing under pressure, the 911 thrived. From local club racing to global endurance events, Porsche kept sending a rear-engine car into environments dominated by mid-engine prototypes and front-engine powerhouses. On paper, the 911 was always at a disadvantage. The weight over the rear axle made it tricky under braking. The layout challenged tire management. Cooling an air-cooled engine under extreme conditions required creative solutions. But the same layout that critics mocked gave the 911 something invaluable in endurance racing: traction and reliability. The engine's position allowed the rear wheels to dig into the asphalt when exiting corners, making the car brutally effective on twisty circuits. Its mechanical simplicity reduced failure points. And Porsche's obsessive engineering culture meant problems were not excuses to quit, but puzzles to solve. The 911's racing history is not defined by a single dramatic victory, but by relentless presence. Decade after decade, it showed up. It competed at Le Mans, in rally stages, in GT championships, often punching above its weight. While other manufacturers built purpose-made race cars that vanished when regulations changed, the 911 adapted. Turbocharging arrived. Water cooling eventually replaced air cooling, sparking outrage among purists but ensuring survival. Each change was controversial, yet necessary. Porsche never claimed the 911 was perfect. They treated it like a living system, constantly tuned, constantly refined. This persistence reshaped how people viewed the car. The 911 stopped being judged by theoretical balance and started being respected for real-world performance. Engineers from rival brands quietly acknowledged what fans already knew. The rear engine layout wasn't wrong, it was just demanding. And Porsche had mastered it. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the 911's story is how it survived internal pressure as well. Porsche repeatedly tried to replace it. The 928 was supposed to be the future, a front-engine V8 Grand Tourer designed to move the company beyond its eccentric sports car roots. On paper, the 928 made sense. In reality, customers rejected the idea that Porsche could abandon the 911. The market spoke clearly. The soul of the brand lived in that rear engine silhouette. By the time Porsche accepted this, the 911 had become untouchable. It was no longer just a product. It was a symbol of resistance to short-term thinking. In an industry obsessed with reinvention, the 911 proved that refinement could be more powerful than reinvention. This is why the 911 still matters today. Not because it is the fastest or the most technologically extreme, but because it represents a philosophy that is increasingly rare. The idea that you don't discard an identity when it becomes inconvenient. You improve it. You learn its weaknesses. You turn limitations into advantages. The Porsche 911 didn't survive despite logic. It survived because Porsche understood that engineering logic isn't static. It evolves through experience, failure, and persistence. The car everyone said was wrong became the standard by which sports cars are judged. And that is why, more than 60 years later, the 911 isn't a relic. It's proof that sometimes refusing to change everything is the most radical decision of all.